Good morning. Welcome to episode 4. What is poppin'? It is Wednesday morning, grey skies in Edinburgh. What's fucking new? So, I'm just on the way to work now. Monday night. Straight up. Honesty. Straight up fact. Monday night. Worst night of sleep that I've had in... I don't know, a long time, maybe 6 months, just a fucking shite sleep. After 3 consecutive days of boozing at the weekend, something that I very, very rarely do, and I was just in a state of emotional torment, and God, it was horrible, just writhing around in the sheets. And, well, first of all, I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking about jiu-jitsu. And my brain just kept racing with transitions and combinations of counters and re-counters and counters to those counters. And just, oh, God, it was very frustrating. I just couldn't switch it off. And then when I eventually did get to sleep at, 4:30, 5 o'clock, all I could see was fucking ayahuasca demons, and I was just not in the mood for them. So I remember specifically, not even being scared, just being annoyed, and just being like, demons, just fuck off. Just get the fuck out of here. I'm not in the mood. And just genuinely, when I think about the fear that I had back in Peru seeing that shit, and this time it was just pure look, I've been through this. We've established that you're all a bunch of pricks, and get out of here. Just get out of my face, and let me sleep. But it was a rough one, and I'm happy to say that last night I had a good almost 7 hours, which it's not optimal, but god damn it, it's better than the previous night. I was just Then it's on your mind then for the rest of the day. You're like, oh, I didn't really sleep that well. So you're kind of being a bit lazy about decisions and about thinking through stuff, because you're like, I'm not really able to think because I didn't really sleep that well. So there was an element of that at work for me yesterday, just snaking around, making little excuses. And I didn't go training last night because I was too tired. But however, the world spins on with little regard for my sleep patterns. So what's in the pipeline? What's coming up? Edinburgh Festival is happening pretty soon. Haven't made any effort to establish what shows are worth going to. What do I think about the festival? I think it's cool. I lived here when it was in operation. I guess it was about 5 years ago. And deadly. Me and one of the lads that I lived with, Matthew Gray, a native Scot himself, we would get our guitars and just make up real shite, stupid songs, and on the fly, and just have a laugh. I can't really remember any of the songs in particular, but needless to say, they were extremely inappropriate. And definitely not suitable for airtime of any sort, especially if you had a political career in mind. Oh, another thing, a big event there it happened on, was it Sunday? But the shark incident at J Bay during the Mick Fanning and the surf competition. Holy shit. That was terrifying. That's my number one fear. Number one, top of the shelf fear. It was, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it. He's just sitting on the board, minding his own business, and then you'd see when he kind of felt the tug of the leash on his leg, the just sheer confusion on his face, and luckily he reacted instinctively without any thought of oh my god, let me consider the propensity of the situation. Instead, he just was like, ah! And just started like kicking and punching and flopping around and trying to keep the board in between him and the shark. And the shark, you know, I'm no shark expert, but it seems to me that, you know, sharks, by all accounts of the documentaries and whatnot that I've read, it's always like, there's a really major misconception about the great white shark. It's actually a very curious creature, and the apex predator, as though it may be, it is not a vicious monster as portrayed in movies such as Jaws and whatnot. So, that being said, like, it does seem like that the shark was just kind of curious and gave him like a little, went up to give him like one of those little, you know, like the little bumps, and then they like swim away really quick. So I think maybe that's what the shark wanted to do. He was just investigating, and he got caught up in the leash, and then the shark panicked, and Mick Fanning panicked, and everybody panicked, and then the shark fucking legged it. It seems to me that if that shark had Mick Fanning like targeted for dinner, that he would have been done. You know, they are like the world's greatest predator for a reason. You know, and I think they've been relatively unchanged evolutionary wise for 100 million years. I think great whites and crocodiles, I believe, are the sort of longest standing current model, if you will. So, but yeah, Jesus. And then the jet skis were zoomed in very quickly. Not quick enough though. They were there probably in about 5 seconds, which, can you imagine how long those seconds were lasting for Mick Fanning with a great white in the water, somewhere in the murky depths below? You know, like, you're just such a fucking moron in the water. Like, a human body in the water is just, it's pathetic in comparison to a shark. Like, the mobility and dexterity of a shark compared to a human on a surfboard at the surface of the water it's absolutely laughable. Like, I wonder what a reasonable comparison would be. I don't know. I do remember a diver who was in one of those shark diving cages, and a huge great white grabbed a hold of the cage, and the way he described it was, you know, the power that the shark was shaking the cage at. He said it was something like if you had a jar and there was a bee inside the jar and you were just shaking the jar around, which is pretty terrifying. But yeah, Mick Fanning made it out in one piece, and he was completely fine. Just shark chewed right through his leash. And oh God, that is, I couldn't believe it. I'm glad I didn't see that video before I went to France on the surf trip. But fucking hell. Yeah. There you go, first time it's ever happened in competition, and I believe it's, I wonder what the statistics are for people, like, let's say human hours in the water in sharky areas versus incidents. Because, I mean, you can imagine the huge amount of times where that incident may have just, you know, somebody surfing and a great white shark or a tiger shark or whatever just comes up for a little inspection and just goes, what do we have here? Oh no, it's a surfer. And then just leaves, and nobody ever even knew. Like, the only reason that people knew about that incident was because the shark unfortunately got caught in its leash. So I reckon there is a serious amount of incidents where the sharks are underneath and nobody even knows, especially off the coast of South Africa, California. Like, these places, there's plenty of sharks. And after that incident the other day, I was looking at, because Hawaii has had quite a few incidents as well over the last few years, and you know, they've got a tiger shark tagging system where they tag the sharks, and you can actually, they've got about like 15 or 16 different tiger sharks tagged, and every time I think the shark, the dorsal fin comes out of the water or something like that, they're able to track its location. So, and sharks generally cruise, I believe, maybe they don't, I have no idea. I used to know that. I was a shark expert when I was about 6. Yeah, so you can see like sort of the general routes and shit that these guys would take, and yeah, it was interesting, really interesting. Like, they'd all kind of cruise in circular big triangles, like that would be their hunting zone, and then occasionally they might go a little bit further afield. But yeah, there's plenty of sharks around Hawaii, and they're cruising around all the fucking time. So yes, not surprising. And there's a shitload of surfers in Hawaii as well. So it is it really is, you know, a highly unlikely situation. And sharks obviously don't like the taste of people. Otherwise, we'd be getting fucking chomped all the time. But anyway, that brings us to the end of today's podcast. And I'm almost at work now. And I hope that fortune favours you on this day. And I hope that somehow you make some small improvement in your well-being. Be that physically, emotionally, or socially. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. Be good. Stay strong. Like Mick Fanning.